Alrighty, y'all. Good egg on. We're taking a look at something fun. It's been a while since we did this. Comparing food in Sydney, Australia, to be exact, to, well, American food from an American that I believe was obviously spent some significant time in Australia, maybe for work, for school, for whatever. This is from a channel called Marissa Down Under, and I think this should be pretty good. Now, I do have quite a bit of experience with this from all the way over here, just in the fact that, with mail time and stuff over the years, I've gotten a lot of decent selection of foods, mostly in the sweets department, right? Lollies or candy bars, stuff like that. But not to mention, some more gourmet kind of chocolates, as well as some of the staples from Australia, like, meat pies, kangaroo jerky, some random kind of stuff like that as well. So I've had a little bit, and trust me, I've had enough to know that it's definitely a little bit different. Some things a lot of bit different than here. And everything I've had has been pretty damn good. Some weird ones, some stuff I didn't like. But even like when it comes down to snack food, like chips and stuff, there's a lot of stuff that's really, really good and a lot more flavors in Australia. So it's really cool. But hopefully we're going to be taking a look at some actual like food, right? And I'm anxious to see how it stacks up, what the differences are from kind of an American's perspective. So this should be pretty good. This will be linked down below so you can watch the whole thing uninterrupted as we'll browse through it, and definitely browse their channel. Without further ado, let's go.
Or what Australian food is like. The food items itself, I guess, like if you go to a restaurant here, Australian food isn't really that different from American food or maybe like British food. It's just kind of like burgers, sandwiches, meat, potatoes. But
yeah, that might be the base for a lot of restaurants, but I also feel like there's definitely, from what I've heard, especially when you're in a big city like Melbourne or Sydney or something, I feel like there's definitely going to be a good variety of food, right? A lot of Asian food I've heard is like really killer good in Australia. A lot of cafe culture. There's a lot of food out there.
The difference, I think, is in what the stuff actually tastes like. I think overall here, my general view is that things are just a lot healthier. They're made a lot healthier, whether you're buying snacks at the grocery store or if you're getting takeout. I just think there's more like healthier options. There's a lot of more like smoothie acai places. Stuff is geared a lot more towards people who work out, like going.
See, I love to hear that, man. I love to hear that. That is like what you want in a food culture around your area that you live in. Just makes everything so much better, dude. Makes so much easier to stay in shape and kind of get motivated to get in shape and all that kind of stuff. It is gone. It's not new information. I'm sure you've heard a million times. Like, food is just in a bad spot. It's really a bad spot here in the U.S. It's gone downhill so bad. And that's one thing I've seen in, of course, all these, European countries, learning about their stuff, learning about, of course, Australia, New Zealand. Like, there's just much better food standards. And in Australia's case, like I said, I always preface this, which they are unique. So I'm not saying they're exactly alike, but there's a lot of somewhat similarities between Australia and the U.S. when it comes to certain foods and stuff. And I hate to admit this, right? I hate to knock on my own country, but let's get real. I feel like Australia is like what the U.S. should be, like, or should strive to be. It's like a better version of us, kind of mixed with the UK and mixed with its own thing. Like, I don't know. It's really cool. And our food culture, man, can be rough.
To gyms.
If you want really good food, you can get it here. It's just going to cost you. Going to cost you a lot.
And fitness in general is really big here.
Oh, damn. Y'all still got donuts, though. If you do got a sweet tooth, right? If you want to be a little unhealthy. There you go. These look actually divine, right? Holy smokes. Don't get me wrong. There's some good donuts here. These are really cool. I haven't seen like a really pretty kind of fun donut like that in a while. Love it. I also love spying up here. You have an everything bagel. But I've never seen this at a bagel or at a breakfast place. Add cream cheese or Nutella. Add strawberry jam, Vegemite, honey, or peanut butter. Usually you can add cream cheese or maybe a couple other different spreads here. I've never seen really like honey or peanut butter. Not at most places, although I'll leave those in the gray area. Maybe some places will. I could safely say I've never seen add Vegemite at a restaurant.
So because a lot of things here
Interesting.
Different, I kind of
Tell me below the best bagel. I'm a big bagel fan, by the way. You know, I love a good bagel every once in a while. Tell me the best Aussie bagel with some Vegemite and whatever else. Gotta let me know. Maybe I'll try that for a video. That'd be sick.
I wanted to compare American brands in Australia and see if it would taste differently, because in general, cheese here, like cheese snacks, anything like that, just tastes different. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know, it has this like powdery taste, like if you're gonna get like cheese crackers or something. And so so I went.
Yeah, Cheezels are the bomb though. They are very powdery. The cheese is actually more yellow, whereas our cheese tends on these kind of products tends to be a little more orange. It's weird. You know, we make some good cheese products. Some of them, it's like either a hit or a miss. Some of them are kind of weird or off. These are spectacular. I do love these. I think if you're a veteran of this channel, you'll know that I've loved getting these in meal time. Like, these are the bomb.
And bought a box of Kraft mac and cheese. When I tried it, it tasted sweeter. And I was like, this does not taste like mac and cheese to me.
Really? It tasted sweeter?
Okay,
surprised to hear that.
That leads me to the fast food. So
I want to see this.
I've gotten McDonald's a couple times here. I would say it's half and half of what tastes the same and what tastes different. I got Subway the other day.
Wow, I'm surprised you didn't cover more, but I have covered that in other videos. Remember, I don't go to McDonald's at all in the U.S. I'm just not interested. It's not good. It's too expensive for what it is, and it's not good in my opinion. I would try it 100% in Australia. It's not something I'd eat every day, of course, but I would try it because I've just seen and heard there's a lot of little things that start to add up why it's a better experience. You have literally way more items on the menu than we have. And then, of course, you have higher quality ingredients. Even like the burgers are like locally sourced and all this stuff, high grade beef and all this stuff. Yeah, that is not the story at McDonald's here.
Okay, and there's something about Subway. If you guys have ever heard that it's like
I avoid Subway
snack,
too.
You'll get Subway like every single day. I don't know, I was just really craving it. And again, tasted different.
I bet it's better, kind of on the same line as McDonald's. I'm sure it's a little more real and like nice ingredients. I avoid Subway here. I think they're very low quality. A lot of like prepared stuff. It's not like, doesn't give me like a fresh deli sandwich vibe, because it's literally not. I go to Jersey Mike's, so shout out to them. If you're ever in the US, that's where you go. Don't go to Subway, go to somewhere fresh like Jersey Mike's. Real deli. They actually, slice everything in front of you. They make it in front of you. It's all super fresh and awesome. It's really good.
It tasted so different. I feel like there wasn't a sodium in it.
Yeah,
okay.
It's probably healthier in Australia.
Now I want to talk about the names for things here that are different, because some of this stuff just sends me. Like, okay, here they call basically anything that's put between buns is a burger. So in the U.S.
Yes, I think we've had that debate many times in the comments. I'm just going to leave it alone. Either you guys do it wrong or we do it wrong. And at this point, it is what it is. It's not a hill I'm willing to die on. I don't think it's a huge deal. By the way, wow, these eggs look phenomenal.
Yes, if I'm getting a burger, I'm talking about a hamburger. Like, it has a meat patty in it.
Yeah, she has the American view on it, which, again, it's not a big deal. It's how we were raised. It's what we know. And the other way is what you guys know. So
I said chicken
I don't think it's
sandwich,
a big deal.
And my coworkers were like, what's that? And I was like, what do you mean, what's that? And they're like, oh, you mean a burger? And I'm like, no, that's
chicken
not a burger.
Yeah.
So this is like the conversation that I have every day. I think that's the one thing that I can't get over. And that leads me...
There is ironically a couple, I can't think off the top of my head, there is a couple instances or like a couple restaurants that do say chicken burger, even here in the U.S. So
my next thing, ketchup. They don't say that here. They say tomato sauce.
Which is way better.
Thoughts on that. They also call Sprite lemonade, and they call lemonade lemon squash. Like, if you say Sprite, they know what you're saying. And I've never ordered a lemonade where they've given me lemonade. It's always Sprite. But like, I would never say lemon squash. Okay, so this one is just gonna... I'm just never gonna get used to it. They say chips instead of fries, which like is not that uncommon, for other places to say that. But I was like, well, what do you call chips then? Because, I'm talking about like potato chips. And then my coworker was like, just chips.
Yeah, by the way, earlier when I was saying I like Australian chips we've been sent, these are what I'm talking about. These, crunchy potato chips. Yeah, Obviously, French fries, we call fries here.
So I'm like, how do you differentiate chips? Which I've also seen sometimes people say crisps, but I will just say fries. So obviously there is Australian foods here, like different brands, different types of things you're supposed to try here that we don't have in America. So the first one that people kept telling us to try was ginger beer. We kept asking for ginger ale.
Yeah.
And yes, like you can find ginger ale at the grocery store.
Did she not like it from that face? I could see people not liking it. It's a very unique taste. I freaking love it, dude. Bundaberg, yeah. That's the stuff.
But people here more so would drink ginger beer. Now, if you order ginger beer in the US, it's going to be like super flavorful and not something I think you would want to just like drink without alcohol. But everyone had said that Bundaberg here is like the brand you have to try.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Australian made. So finally, yeah, we tried it and it was so good. It was kind of like
Okay,
less
she did like it. I was going to say, that stuff is spectacular.
sweet than ginger ale in the US, less carbonated. It's more of like a crisp, refreshing drink. So
Yeah, it's very crisp, and it's very like, again, it's hard to describe. It's very unique, very potent, and very like herbal almost. It's refreshing in this weird like medicinal way. I like it. It's very different than drinking like a soda or juice or water. It's very unique.
that's something we get all the time now.
Yeah, and this is luckily like somewhat available in the U.S. I wouldn't call it widely available, but you can find it.
Oh, it's good. I like it. The other one is TimTam's. It's just like a chocolate biscuit type of thing. Kind of just reminds me of a Twix. I don't think it was like my favorite thing ever, but it was good. Okay, the other
She's
is
crazy.
Vegemite. Again, it's good. It just tastes like
One of the
super
best things ever.
salty. But I don't know why I was kind of shocked when I came here. Like I knew Australians ate Vegemite, but I don't think I realized like how much they liked it. I think I thought,
Hey, you know what? This is one of the only times I've seen someone do it right. They don't have it slathered in Vegemite where it's like, of course you're not going to like it. You know, it's like caked on there. This is like very light. I think that's surprising. That's pleasantly surprising.
it was something that they just were told to eat
Gotta
growing up,
ease
but they
into
genuinely like
Vegemite.
the taste. Another one, which I had heard maybe like a month after being here, was
Pretty much
Jats, and they're
all
so
the Arnott's
good.
are good.
The people who
All the
told us
Arnott's
about
products.
it said that Ritz are usually like the other cracker you would get that would be more like the old person snack. I have to agree, the Jets are way better. This is just like a random fact I'm throwing in is people here go grocery shopping barefoot. I've seen like people come in from the beach, but I've also seen them wear
Dude, no lie. We have this Australian, I think it's like an Australian Aldi bag. We have this in our rotation of bags from you guys, which is awesome.
wearing completely normal outfits.
Safely say I
like
could never,
khaki pants
never,
and
ever
just
have seen that in the
barefoot.
U.S.
Okay, what a lot of people are curious about is the cost because, of course, you hear Australia is expensive.
Yeah.
But I think that there's really cheap ways you can get food here. And then, of course, there's more expensive options. If you compare Sydney to New York is definitely more expensive than Sydney.
See, yeah, of course it's going to vary by regions and cities. New York City is unbelievable. It's way more. It should not be the standard for the U.S., by the way. Like, if you go to New York City, you're in like a different country than the rest of the U.S. New York City is its own thing. New York City, even Chicago to an extent, Los Angeles, actually California as a whole, they're their own micro countries. They are totally different than the rest of the U.S. Way more expensive, like unbelievably more. And I would also say, to be fair, probably Sydney and Melbourne, at least, maybe Perth and Brisbane and whatever else you want to throw in there, but at least Sydney and Melbourne are going to be, again, probably way more expensive than the rest of Australia. So keep that in mind. But from what I've heard, remember, we're in like some sort of weird spot here in the U.S. Everything, I have complained about it enough in the last couple of years. Groceries, going to the supermarket, eating out, whatever way you want to, cut it. Everything is extremely expensive right now in the U.S. It's really, it sucks. There's no other way to put it. It's very frustrating. And I got receipts to prove it if anyone wants to ask. But I'm imagining, times are probably a little more expensive right now in Australia compared to a few years ago. That probably goes for most places. But I think of things like produce. That's one of the things that really sucks as an American right now is like our produce is very hard to find good produce, and it usually costs you an arm and a leg. And I know like in Europe, they have amazing produce and it's really cheap. And I've heard pretty much similar things about Australia. I think you guys have top tier produce to buy at your stores. And I also feel like it's probably the same price or cheaper, which in reality it's a better value because it's a better product. So even if it is around the same price, it's actually a better value, right? It's a better thing. So
Sydney, in my opinion, just living there. Of course, like Ohio is going to be cheaper than Sydney, but when it comes down to just grocery shopping, I probably spend like $80 AUD on everything that I need for a week. If I went to a grocery store in Brooklyn, I'd spend minimum 100 USD a week. What I find the cheapest here is coffee. Lattes to flat whites to cappuccinos. That's usually $4.50 AUD.
Wow.
And that's $2.85 USD.
Okay, that's unheard of. So obviously if you go to your big franchise coffee places here, which everyone knows aren't the best, right? Everyone says they suck, especially like, people not from here. So your Dunkin' Donuts, your Starbucks, your whatever, those are pretty pricey, right? The Starbucks she was carrying around earlier, that's easily $6 or $7, maybe $8 US. That's a lot of money, right? Home brewed coffee place, cafe, and places you kind of want to go, it's going to range. Sometimes it'll be just that much, but it's really good stuff. Sometimes it'll be a little cheaper, right? Maybe $3 or $4 at the minimum for a basic, black coffee or something, but that's going to be hard to find. Hearing that, this is the equivalent of like $2 or $3 American or US dollars rather for this, presumably great coffee around Australia. That's incredible. That is a good value. That's a very good price.
So I don't look at getting coffee here as much of a luxury as in the US, especially in New York where I'd spend $8 US on a latte. A large coffee here is the size of a small in the US. Now I'm going to talk about restaurant prices because this is...
That's true. That is true. That's one good point, but still, honestly, you don't need the US large. It's
where it
kind of
gets
excessive.
Expensive. The other day I went to a bar and I got fries that was like $12 and a glass of wine was $11. I went to a breakfast spot. Breakfast burrito was $17. Likely you'll be paying like $19 for a cocktail at most restaurants. Alcohol here just seems to be expensive in general.
That's true.
So
that's true.
One night we were going out, we wanted to get a bottle of tequila, and the cheapest option we could find for a small bottle was around $50. But on the...
Wow. So yeah, that's one thing that's definitely different. Because people have sent like little catalogs and stuff from different stores, and I've kind of done some rough comparisons. And here, alcohol is generally pretty cheap, whether it's liquor, hard alcohol, or just beer. I guess that's one thing we got it pretty lucky in the U.S. It's very easy to find at almost anywhere you could think of, and it's very cheap. And that's definitely like way more expensive in Australia.
On the other hand, here sushi is really cheap. So usually
cool.
For lunch,
Sushi's expensive here.
Get a sushi roll for
Very
$4.70. We need to talk about the elephant in the room.
You double or triple that in the U.S.
We need to end on...
That was a really, really good video, though. There were parts of that we did kind of skip through as well. So, yeah, like I said, links down there. Make sure and check her out. Check this out. As always, this was good. I haven't seen kind of a food breakdown in a while, especially from someone who knows both pretty well. Like, she's been in Australia, it sounds like a decent amount of time. And, of course, grew up with American food, so that was kind of fun to see. I have a little bit of experience with it as well. And, of course, there's a lot more to discover. But, yeah, that was really interesting. I think it kind of stands the same. My kind of take on it is that generally, I think shopping at supermarkets, you're going to get a better experience, and it's probably going to be a little more cost-effective in Australia than the U.S. I think eating out could go either way. I think coffee culture is way better in Australia, it sounds like, and is definitely more affordable, like a better value. Eating out, like I said, can go both ways. Sounds like it might be a little bit more cost effective in the U.S., just on some restaurants, and then getting alcohol involved and stuff like that. But, you'll also find some world-class food here. But if you want that level, it's going to be really expensive, right? So when you kind of trickle down to more normal food, fast foods, then Australia is going to pull ahead, because I think the Australian food is going to be held to a higher standard. It's going to be more localized. It's going to be higher quality. and that's where they're going to shine. So yeah, that's how I'm breaking it down. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. This was very fun. Please keep your awesome suggestions coming, and I hope your week has been great. It's almost the weekend. Appreciate you watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.